Hey guys, Luke here, and we're here to preview the 2015 NRL season, and we're going to be doing round 8. So let's get into the video, and just going to be going over them briefly, not too in depth. But I'm going to start off on Friday night. We've got the Bulldogs and the Tigers, and actually this is the only Friday night game. Looks to be lots on Saturday. So Bulldogs taking on Tigers. Now I'm a Bulldog supporter, so I'm just gonna obviously going to be a bias. So instead of me going, oh, this is going to be good and bad, I'm just going to say why I think Bulldogs going to win, and yeah, it's up to you if you want to take that for what it is, or you want to say it's biased. I don't really care. Reason for why I think they're going to be too good. I think Bulldogs just have a little bit too much. We are missing a lot of players, but I think our forward pack is still better than Tigers. And I know Josh Morris is out, but Umbai was incredible last week. And I think Chris Lawrence, I don't know who he's going to be up against, but I think he should have a pretty good game. Reynolds seems to be back into form. Hopefully Hodkinson can follow. I'm not so sure what's going to happen, but yeah, and Perrett's had another game under his belt at fullback, so getting a little bit more comfortable with it again. And Casiano, a big inclusion to the squad, as is Tim Brown. I'm not sure who's going to come in for Umbai, who was originally on the bench, seeing as the SESE, whatever his name is in police custody at the time of recording this. I assume Kafusi will come straight in. Yeah, basically, I'm just going to say I think the forwards will be too strong, apart from Marty Tapau. So Bulldogs, I'm going to say 1-12, because I don't think they'll run away with it or nothing. Probably be like last time, where Tigers put up a fair bit of a fight, but in the end, we'll get them. Moving on to Warriors and the Titans. Now, this is at home. I know Titans been in pretty good form lately. Warriors sort of a bit hot and cold, whatever, but I do think Warriors playing at home will be too strong for the Titans. I'm not real sure what Titans' record is. I believe they actually got a better away record than what they do at home for the last few seasons, but in the end, their record just wasn't good at all for the last few years, so take it for what it is. It's not really good either way. Yeah, I think Warriors will be too strong, but at the same time, there's such a hot and cold side, obviously we know what they're capable of, and I feel like I say this every week, or I do say this every week. We know what they're capable of, but it's just a matter of which team turns up. Is it going to be the Warriors that are half decent, that are a half decent Warriors side can win the game, but sometimes they're just downright awful, and it doesn't really work too well for them. Seeing Hurrell has been dropped, I don't know if that's a good or bad move. Fustua comes in. I haven't really seen too much of him at centre. I know he played wing. He probably has played centre before, but I just can't remember it. But yeah, Hurrell's another one who obviously has big damaging plays, but pretty poor sometimes. On the other hand, Titans, they've been playing pretty consistent this year, beaten in a battle every game. I know they got flogged by Panthers at the start of the year, but they've still been in the contest for most part for all the games, which is good for them. But I'm going to say Warriors 13 plus. I think they'll just be too good in the end. Moving on to Knights taking on the Cowboys. Now, this should be an interesting game. Cowboys are red hot at the moment. Knights, not so much. They started off pretty well. Their whole game was based around sort of just grinding out wins tonight sort of stuff. Tarek Sims back in the squad. I think he played last week as well, whatever. But yeah, just Knights as a whole have dropped off a fair bit, but that was always going to happen. There's always a side or two that starts off the season pretty strong and drops off pretty quickly. Dragons were it last year. Granville has made a world of difference for Cowboys. Also Thurston, just playing incredible at the moment. Lachlan Coote also a big in for them. But since he's been back, they've sort of, I don't know, they just look so much better having Michael Morgan in the halves. Look like they finally got a spine that they can sort of work with. How far will get them in the comp, I don't really know, but I think they should be able to beat Knights pretty comfortably. At the same time, Knights might be able to just grind out a victory, but I'm going to say Cowboys will win 13 plus. Moving on to Roosters and the Dragons. I think Roosters will win this one. Dragons been in great form of late, a really good win streak, but they say that with every win you're close to another loss, and I think the last few games that I think people getting a false sort of sense of how good the Dragons are. They might be thinking they're a bit better than what they are. I've seen Benji Marshall still talking himself up. I think Roosters not in great form, but I think they should be able to get the job done. I think Dragons they keep coming up against sides that aren't attacking very well. They just aren't doing things very well at all. Although you have to give credit to them, their goal line offense is pretty darn good. But I think against a side like the Roosters probably will be able to take advantage of that. You'd like to think so, anyways, with the team that they've got. Moving on to my prediction for the game. I'll go 1-12 because I think that it'll still be a close one, but I think Roosters, will be able to win this one. Moving on to Storm vs Eagles, usually a blockbuster clash, at least for the last 5 years. Not so much anymore. Played them at the start of the season. Obviously, Seagulls only winners against Storm. It was at Brookvale though, and I'm going to be backing the Storm for this one. I think they're in way better form. Munster, I can't remember if I saw that if Slater's. I don't think he is. I think that's probably done. But Storm side just seem to be gelling well, getting the job done. Seagulls, their forward pack is just still garbage, and the back line isn't that great either. I'm not sure if I saw if Jamie Lyon might be playing. I don't really know, but they can't go on having the Chase Blairs and Willie Armies and David Williams and that. It's just they will not win with them in the side. And I'm sorry, Seagulls fan. Well, not really, because I like seeing Seagulls struggling a little bit. No offense, but I'm going to say Storm are going to win 13+. I just don't think they'll be able to hang with them anywhere. Broncos and the Eels. So Broncos, I think they got beat last week. Weren't particularly impressive. Beat the Roosters the week before, and I still don't think they're that particularly impressive. I know they're sort of up and about the top of the ladder and that, but the ladder doesn't really matter at this stage of the comp. Eels, another team that's a bit hot and cold. It depends on how many injuries they got, and it looks like they're starting to get a few troops back, possibly Takarangi back in the squad. I think it's a good move, moving Hopewadi into the centres, Reece Robinson at fullback. I would still say Broncos will win, but I don't expect Eels to get blown out or nothing. It'll probably be a tough one. I just think maybe just the more experience in the Broncos squad. I think they just got a better all-round squad rather than the Eels have got a few players like Sandow and stuff who can play really good, but tend to sort of not play that well. They're not very consistent, so we'll go with the more consistent side in the Broncos there, and I'll say 1-12. Panthers taking on the Sharks. Interesting one. Seguiaro been ruled out, so I'm not sure what's going to go on there. I assume Will Smith will probably come into 5'8" role and Coruscant go to hooker, but I can't say for sure. I suppose we'll learn that a bit closer to kickoff time. But Sharks, I think they've been fantastic lately. I mean, last week they had a good win against Rabbitohs, but Rabbitohs are pretty depleted at the moment. Also, the fact that the conditions were just really, really bad, so it's hard to take that game into account and say it's going to affect this game, but they are full of confidence. Panthers not so much, not playing that great, lots of injuries. I will say Sharks. I'm going to say Sharks. I'm going to say 1-12. I think they just got too much confidence at this stage. And the final game of the round is the Rabbitohs taking on the Raiders. Now, I'm going to say Rabbitohs. I'm going to say Raiders will win this one. Just looking at the squads, South's having Cameron McInnes in 5'8" and stuff like that doesn't fill me with too much hope for the Rabbitohs. But at the same time, they're a team that knows how to win, can get the job done, and they've still got Inglis, Dylan Walker's back, George Burgess. They've got a lot of winners in their squad. That's what I'm trying to say. But at the same time, Raiders, I think they've just looked very consistent this year, put up some strong performances, and I don't think Rabbitohs have been particularly impressive. Obviously, they got lots of injuries. That is a reason for that. But, you can only play what's in front of you, and I think Raiders might get the job done. I'm going to say 1-12 because I think Rabbitohs will have enough to sort of just stick around. But I think the forward pack of Raiders will just go through them, and then I think the Scissor Wongers and Jared Croker will be able to take advantage of it. And I think Jack Whiten's a key to this game as well. But yeah, that's where the video is going to end. Some controversial picks, I think, but hopefully ones that I get right. If you want to leave in the comments, what are your predictions for this week? In the description, it's got all the games and all that sort of stuff. And make sure you leave a comment. And if you want to follow me on Twitter, at Mr. Luke and YT is my Twitter account. I've got a Facebook page in the description below. Make sure you subscribe and like the video and do all that sort of shiz. And I'll see you for the round 9. Or go check out my Rugby League Live 2 stuff as well, and information for Rugby League Live 3 and Rugby League Manager 2015. Alright, this is where I actually leave it, and I'll see you next time. Bye guys.